What's good, y'all? It's Classic MMA here, and I thought with, the most generational UFC card ever coming out tomorrow, with JDM defending the belt against Islam Makhachev, I thought I'd do, a bit of a fun video today before, the biggest card ever. And I thought we'd talk about some underrated contenders who could beat the champ in their division. Now, before I go on in this video, I'm going to say I don't think every single one of these dudes is going to be champ. I don't think every single one of these dudes is going to beat the current champ in their division. I just think that maybe a couple of these guys, and if a couple of these guys end up, upsetting champions or future champions, then look who said it first. Anyways, let's get started with the flyweight division. So I don't have too many options here, I won't lie. Like, with Pantoja kind of clearing out the whole division, and Van might win the belt, and that might change things. But I also think Van beats most of these dudes. So I actually got a guy who I think can beat both Pantoja and Van. Not saying he's going to, and not saying I would even favor him to, but this is who I got. Charles Johnson, the energy himself. So why do I think this guy could be a bad matchup for Joshua Van and Pantoja? Well, the Joshua Van one's pretty obvious. I mean, he knocked him out. Obviously, Van was winning that fight 2-0, but that third round, Charles Johnson catches him with a big old shot. And there goes Joshua Van. And I think Joshua Van might honestly beat Pantoja. I still need to think about that fight more, and I'll have my in-depth breakdown come out in a couple weeks. But like genuinely, so if Van becomes champ, I really think that Charles Johnson could beat him in a rematch. Like, now what makes Charles Johnson so good? Well, he just KO'd Loner Kavanagh, who was looking like a future champ at 125, a dude with really good wrestling, pretty good power for a flyweight, pretty big for a flyweight. I mean, Loner Kavanagh's really good, dude. Really fun to watch. Just kind of a scrapper at flyweight who was on a big run, and Charles Johnson finds that KO shot in the second round, which is something you just don't see at 125. You don't see these dudes landing big KO shots at 125, but Charles Johnson's doing that. It's also he is the biggest weight bully in this division. He's massive for this division. He's 5'9", he's ripped, he's in shape, and he fights at 125. Like, his physique is good enough for him to go up to bantamweight if he wanted to. And then he also has actual KO power for a flyweight and good grappling as well. Like, that's something that most flyweights don't, or most flyweights just don't have any KO power. Let's be fair. Look at Brandon Moreno. Look at Royval. Like, I mean, most of these guys really don't have much power at all. And his only recent loss, if you want to call it a loss, is to Ramazan Smirov, who tested positive for steroids right after the fight, and the UFC removed from the rankings. So, Charles Johnson's tough, man. I mean, and then I know I talked mostly about the Joshua Van matchup, but the Pantoja one. If Pantoja isn't able to take down Charles Johnson, then Charles Johnson might knock him out. Pantoja believes in blocking punches with his face, which is fine when you're fighting, little pitter patter at range, Brandon Royval, Brandon Moreno, these kind of guys. But when you're fighting someone like Charles Johnson, who has real KO power, randomly just has KO power at 125, I mean, you never know. You might see a third round KO from Charles Johnson if he's able to keep himself up on the feet and not get taken down by Pantoja. I really think he could do really well and be a tough matchup. And also, the thing is, if Pantoja wins versus Van, then we're out of options to give the title shot. And if Pantoja decides not to move up to 35 and fight Marab, then I think that Charles Johnson honestly might be the guy. Like, he just has to beat like Steve Erceg and he'd probably get a title shot. Let's be fair here. Like, he could be number 11 ranked and probably get a title shot. This division's bad, man. It's not good at all. Like, genuinely. Or it's a good division. It's just the fact that Pantoja just beat everyone in it. So that's what kind of makes him bad at the moment. An honorable mention is Tatsuro Taira, but he's became pretty well known by this point. He's top 5 in the division, and also yeah, and also he can't strike, so not really a good argument there. Now for 35, this is a guy that I really want to talk about that I don't hear no one talking about when it comes to future champs, future title challengers, future this, future that. At bantamweight, I got my boy Vinicius Oliveira. You might ask why. Oh, the things that Vinicius Oliveira has. He has really good power for 135er with insane pressure. Like, this dude will walk you down with his hands down and just beat you, and you can't do nothing about it. He also has really solid BJJ and grappling. He was able to grapple Ricky Simone, who Ricky Simone's a former ranked guy who's pretty good himself. Knocked out Javi Bashra and I know he just lost to Hony Barcelos, but Hony Barcelos is really good as well. He could honestly be on this list if he wasn't 38 years old. And then also, this is not going to sound like a good thing, but Vinicius Oliveira is the most goofiest, most untechnically gifted fighter you will ever see. This dude fights with his hands down, legit fights like a character off of Street Weaves. He fights like he's Wing C or Death Sentence. Like, come on. However, the style for some reason works against these two super technical guys at 135. He's beat Ricky Simone, who's on paper probably a better fighter than him. He's beat Saeed Nurmagomedov. Dagestan Wrestling, did pretty well against Bryce Mitchell in the wrestling department. Like, I mean, yeah, Kyler Phillips, pretty technical guy. I mean, these are good technical fighters, man. And then I think a lot of this division is super. Now, what does he do against Marab? So Marab's done amazing against these super technical guys such as Sandhagen or Jan, because he's able to wing overhands, spam takedowns, have no defense. He has suspiciously, or he has like randomly good defense where it doesn't look good but it works, and he's hard to hit. So like it's hard to hit Marab clean, and I think that's why his defense works well. And that's why I think that Marab's super pressure heavy style works good against the super technical guys, the Sandhagens, the Jans, the Sean O'Malley's. Like, but what happens if we put someone who's even kind of, might also be missing a chromosome in the brain, who's a little stupid to say the least in this fighting style, in front of Marab, that won't get bullied easily, who has the pressure, who can like that would be a dogfight. I'm not saying Vinicius even beats Merab. I'm just saying he might be the toughest fight for him in this division. Like we have to talk about this. That's what I truly think. I think Vinicius Oliveira. People are gonna be soon really seeing why this guy's so good. And genuinely, the division is so bad that if this guy beats Cheeto in his next fight, like let's say he gets booked against Cheeto and beats him, he might get a title shot off that. That's how bad this division is right now. So. Alright, now moving up to 140. Now moving to 145. I don't know if people are gonna like this one all that much, but I gotta mention this guy, Gene Silva, baby. Now everyone thinks he's a bum after losing to Lopez and hates him for his antics, which I can understand. But this has caused him to be a bit underrated. Everyone thinks he's a bum. Everyone thinks he's not that good. But if you set aside his antics though and look him purely as a fighter, he's truly one of the most skilled fighters at 145. He has an insane level of fight IQ and his insane ability just to find the KO shot, insane power behind his hands. His main weakness is if you're able to take him down and like actually do damage, like a Diego Lopez did in that full mount in the first round of their fight. But if you just try to lay on him, he will stand right back up and KO you. It's that simple. Also, I just think he's a horrible matchup for Volk. He literally beats the current champ. You put Gene Silva in front of the current champ right now, who's chinny and 37 years old. Gene Silva beats the current champ. People don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that, but it's true. And he's even a bad matchup for Diego Lopez. If that rematch happens, I still might favor Gene Silva just because Diego Lopez still hasn't fixed his defensive issues. Like, Diego Lopez is never going to fix his chin issues, but Gene Silva might figure out how to become a little better at his defensive grappling so that he doesn't get put in a full mount and get rained elbows on in the first round. I'm just saying, there's more chances of Gene Silva improving in a fight versus Diego Lopez, as he's, 27, 28 years old, compared to Diego Lopez, who is basically just, he's not going to fix his defensive flaws. He doesn't care to. That's not something he's going for. Which, you know what, Diego Lopez is an granite chin, so maybe it works for him, but I'm just saying in that matchup even. And then even any of these other guys, Mobzar, that can't damage Gene Silva and can't damage Gene Silva on the ground. Over 5 rounds, Gene Silva might be able to find that KO shot and put Evil out. Because Mobzar can't finish Gene Silva. He has no finish ability. And on the feet, Gene Silva might just land one big KO shot and sleep Mobzar. Arnold Allen, too technical, would probably just, get caught somehow. Would be stuck in his technical ability, calf kicking at range. And then eventually Gene Silva finds that shot. Like, truthfully, so many of these guys. Yair Rodriguez. He might get out grappled by Gene Silva. Gene Silva by sub versus Yair might be a real possibility. Yair can't grapple. Like, Gene Silva is genuinely probably a better grappler than Yair Rodriguez. And that's bad, but it's true. Like, most of these guys, I mean, maybe Yusuf Zalal because, stick and move, a little stick and move style. Maybe he could win a decision, or maybe he could take him down and sub him. Steve Garcia. I want to see that fight. I think both these guys with insane KO power would be really interesting. Him and Steve Garcia. Like a lot of these fights, though, I think Gene Silva beats like 95% of this division, and that's not crazy to say. So, Moving on to my next division, lightweight. Let me just jump to this quickly. There's no one for lightweight. Who's gonna beat Iliad Who's underrated that can beat Iliad Do they exist? No, they're probably in LFA right now. They just joined their gym. There's nobody that's underrated that can beat Iliad There's no one out there. Find me someone, please. The only guys who stand a chance against Iliad at 155 are Max Holloway, who is definitely not underrated, and Armin Sarukian, who's definitely not underrated. So let's just jump onto a division that actually has a fighter that can compete with a champion. Now, for welterweight, y'all are not going to agree with this one, but I have to bring him up. Shavkat Rakhmonov. Now you might ask why. How is this dude underrated? He's became underrated because everyone calls him overrated. Everyone calls Shavkat overrated. They say his best wins are Jeff Neal and Old Wonder Boy and Ian Machado Ferry on short notice, but wins and pure skill aren't what makes Shavkat a bad matchup for a lot of people. It's physicality. That's the thing people don't understand about Shavkat. Shavkat is 6'3" and massive, and while not a great wrestler at all, he's pretty bad at wrestling wise. His takedowns suck. He's physically strong enough to force you into a clinch, land body knees, and take you down. And then he uses BJJ to work to a rear naked choke, work into a body lock, get a back take. Like, that's truly what Shavkat would do to you. He's never lost. His only close fight is with Ian Gary, with a torn meniscus, which if you rewatch that fight, you can see it visibly bothering him in that fight. That's the reason he wasn't able to do nothing on the feet, because Shavkat's good on the feet too. He has Muay Thai. He can throw some kicks, throw some big body kicks, throw some head kicks, throw some spinning head kicks. Like, Shavkat is nice, has powerful hands, has a bit of, not saying he has crazy KO power, but he can rock people. Like, he's pretty good. And this is the big one. He's genuinely a horrible matchup for JDM, and especially Islam. Is how is Islam, someone like Islam who has fought 45ers, supposed to take this guy down? And how is he going to get out of the clinch without taking damage from body knees, or getting taken down and controlled and possibly subbed by Shavkat? And yes, Islam's a better striker than him, but Shavkat wouldn't even keep it in the striking. He'd just walk Islam down and grab him. Like, it's that simple. Like, it just wouldn't be fair. Islam's what, 5'10"? Like, Shavkat's gonna have like a 4 inch height difference. Like, come on, man. Shavkat's just, he truthfully is a horrible matchup for everyone in this division. He probably is gonna be champ soon. Just wait. You can look back at this video after I say this. In about a year or two's time, if Shavkat if ever comes back and isn't done for good, then he's gonna be champ. I truly believe so. Now, for middleweight, let's just jump to the conclusion here. If nobody's gonna beat Ilya, nobody who's genuinely underrated, no one can stand a chance against Hamzat. Fluffy, RDR, any of the RDR just quit. Brendan Allen, Nasruddin Imavov, none of Kyle Brahalo, Sean Strickland, Robert Whitaker. I'll throw out every name known to man. Adesanya. None of these guys get close to beating Hamzat. Hamzat's just on a different level to these guys. Like, come on, man. And then for light heavyweight, yeah, people aren't gonna like this one either, but I have to go with him, man. Carlos Ulberg. And you might ask why. This is the only guy with comparable power in this division to Alex Pereira. That counter right hook of Carlos Ulberg is a real thing, man. That thing hits your chin, you're going to sleep. The level of counter striking that Ulberg has is better than nearly anyone in this division, probably besides Pereira. And yes, his boring style, I think, is the reason he's underrated, because nobody likes watching a dude circle around and run from the other guy until he lands one lucky shot. But a lot of these light heavyweights have defensive issues and are easy to hit. Alex Pereira, Yuri Prohaska, Khalil Roundtree. Like, genuinely, the best prospect in this division is Mingyang Zhang, who lost to some calf kicks from Johnny Walker. So, yeah, I don't know. If Alex was to fight the same way he did versus Ankh against Ulberg, the counter right hook would be right there for Ulberg to KO Alex Pereira. People won't see that and might say, no way, man, Ulberg sucks. Alex got some, man. But if you look at the stylistic matchup, I really think Ulberg could do something to Pereira. Do something. Pereira wouldn't be able to pressure him like he pressures these other guys. I'm saying that. And then if you want to, play the pitter patter game with Ulberg, that's where he's best at. He'll kick you with his low kicks. He'll land his jab, and he'll win rounds. It might not be the most fun thing you've ever seen, but he'll win rounds. Like, Ulberg is good. People hate to accept it. People pick Dominic Reyes against him. He's a chinny. I mean, I love Dominic Reyes. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. Beat, the duck that is John Jones. Beat John Jones, but Yeah, Ulberg slept him in 2 minutes, so yeah. Anyways, yeah, Ulberg's really good, and I think people do need to talk about him more. Not for heavyweight. This heavyweight's a tough one, man, because everyone at heavyweight kind of sucks. Like you could genuinely like Tai Tuivasa is still ranked in this division. Derek Lewis is still main eventing fight nights. Like, yeah, this division's cooked. But for heavyweight, I actually have someone kind of fun here. I got Waldo Cortez Acosta, man. And it's not just because he didn't quit from the eye poke and KO'd Tom's teammate. There's a lot more to it. Now, don't let his goofy looks deceive you. This guy might be a blob and might be in some of the worst shape you've ever seen in your life, but he's actually one of the more skilled heavyweights. He has a granite chin. Look at the Pavlich fight. Didn't even get rocked. Just ate those right hooks and stared at Pavlich. I don't know. Jiggled a little at him, did a salsa dance. Like, Waldo Cortez Acosta is amazing, man. I mean, you also can't outpoint him to a decision. He's the best point fighter in this division besides Cyril Gane, I'd say. Like, his point fighting's elite, being able to win a decision. And yes, that's boring, obviously. But just pure fighting ability and how that wins you fight, that is something that he is good at. And he also has that blob KO power, which he showed against Ante Delija. Like, truthfully. And you can't even make him go away if you try to cheat. I mean, look at his last fight against Delija. Delija eye pokes him and then tries to KO him and he eats a bunch of shots, and Waldo doesn't even really get hurt. Like, he doesn't get rocked or nothing. He doesn't get dropped. Just stays standing until the ref finally realizes there is an eye poke. And he actually has good wrestling defense too. Like, you look at his fights versus Sergey Spivak, where he's able to land his own takedowns and stuff Spivak's takedowns, which Sergey Spivak, he's a one-trick pony and is absolutely awful on the feet, but his submission ability and actual wrestling is not that bad for a heavyweight. And then Sergey Pavlovich is just one big, strong dude who can take you down. I mean, like, and he couldn't take down Waldo Cortez Acosta. Like, and this is why he's genuinely might be a horrible matchup for Tom Aspinall. He has a granite chin, so he won't go away. Has good wrestling defense, and over 5 rounds, Tom might gas and Waldo will be able to beat him off that. And it sounds crazy that Waldo Cortez Acosta could be heavyweight champ, but it's reality. And you may call me crazy now, but in a year or two, if you see Waldo Cortez Acosta as UFC champ, don't say I didn't warn you. So, anyways, yeah, Anyways, I hope y'all liked this video. I thought it was fun. Obviously, I'm not saying everything that I said here is gonna happen. I don't. Maybe Waldo Cortez Acosta won't become champ. Maybe Vinicius Oliveira won't get a title shot in fight Marab. But these are some, just some. It's a fun video to make, and honestly, tomorrow I have a card recap out for UFC 322. So, anyways, hope y'all have a good rest of your day, and bye.